This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service, broadcasting live from the KFAB studios, the Penthouse Studios high above Underwood Avenue in downtown Dundee. You are listening to the only show in the metro area that talks about business expansion, real estate, construction, economic development, really anything related to Omaha becoming more vibrant and more prosperous. Thank you to our sponsors, D&M Roofing, along with Dingman's Collision Center. And now, without any further ado, the moment you've all been waiting for the last 30 seconds, the introduction of my co-host, a legendary real estate deal maker, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, good morning. And we have a restaurant review this week at Grow Omaha. Every other week, we have the Grow Omaha Eats restaurant review, which is written by the area's top food critic, Sarah Baker Hansen. And this week, she reviews Asian Market Food Court. Asian Market is at 76th and Cass. What's 76 between Dodge and Cass?
That's a unique review.
I liked it. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I had poked my head in there and thought it looked like a cool place. But apparently, I haven't been there in a while, but apparently in reading the review, it sounds like now there's a food court within it, and that's essentially what Sarah reviewed.
Was there anything fishy about that place?
You are so clever. But it sounds like it's pretty good. She said she would definitely go back, and there's a photograph that she took of an amazing display case full of prepared but homemade sushi. And so I think we got to go over there sometime for lunch.
Let's do it.
The Grow Omaha Eats restaurant review is brought to you by Cheer Athletics. Cheer Athletics is the nation's #1 all-star gym. There are multiple, about 12 to 15 Cheer Athletics locations nationwide. The most important one is here in Omaha at Highway 50 and Highway 370 in Papillion. And if you're looking for a great place for your kids or grandkids to get involved, learn leadership, gain confidence, and be very physically fit, check out Cheer Athletics.
Is there something you need to congratulate me on?
Trenton, congratulations on whatever it is I'm supposed to congratulate you on.
October 28th, 1993, I started in this business.
Oh, really? So you are
30 years.
So you have finally achieved expert status, because once you've been in the business for 30 years, you're an expert.
I'm an SME.
Subject matter expert?
Yeah.
But are you a thought leader?
I try not to be.
No, I think you have a lot to be proud of in those 30 years in the commercial real estate industry. You've done countless deals. You've worked with either directly or indirectly probably thousands of clients.
Oh, sure.
And I bet if you added up all of the transactions you have conducted over the course of those 30 years, it would be hundreds, maybe thousands, or maybe millions, maybe hundreds of millions.
I would say over $1 billion.
Maybe $1 billion.
Worth
maybe
of
billions.
Transactions. Yeah. Leases and sales and that kind of stuff. And the biggest deal I've done, let me think, was $25 million for Storage Mart.
Mm-hmm.
4 properties, and I'm working on bigger.
You're working on bigger. Well, that's pretty good. It's been a good career. Of course, Trenton is one of the top brokers in the state with NAI NP Dodge. We both are part of the NAI NP Dodge family. You had your own company for about 15 years or so, and
World Group.
Yeah, you've been around the block a few times in commercial real estate. Well, congratulations on
Thank you,
that
Jeff.
30-year milestone. That's pretty cool.
I appreciate you bringing that up.
My pleasure. Well, let's go into the news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. We love Eagle Mortgage because they just do such a good job of taking care of Grow Omaha listeners, and they've been in the business for more than they've been in the business longer than Trenton has been doing commercial real estate. And if you want to talk to them about, conventional loan, FHA, VA, they even do a few of the specialty loans, give them a call. Stop by the office at 114th and Davenport, or go to eaglemortgagecompany.com. But I tell you, as a mortgage broker, they shop the market. They are not beholden to one bank. And though sometimes people are now saying, oh, the interest rates are high, historically, they're still very low. And the benefits of owning a house in many, many cases still greatly exceed the benefits of renting one. And so we definitely suggest you talk to Eagle Mortgage. Well, let's get into it, Trenton. I've got a lot of things on the list here. The first one is the Boho Flats. The Boho Flats will be a new 4-story multifamily building on the northwest corner of 13th and Pine Street. That is in Little Bohemia, hence the Bohemian Boho Flats. And just this week, some of our listeners may be familiar with the old Ethnic Sandwich Shop, which stood right there at 13th and Pine. You can tell from the architecture it was once a Dairy Queen. That thing has been demolished, and that means that work will start pretty soon on the new Boho Flats building. Sage Capital Real Estate is doing it as a developer. Like I said earlier, 4 stories, 59 market rate apartments, and it'll also include 5,000 square feet of ground floor retail space. That's important because that whole Little Bohemia district really continues to catch on. You know, the Muchachos, the New Mexican quick serve place out of Lincoln, opened there earlier this year. A lot of potential in the Little Bohemia area.
If you're developing an area and you're branding it, it's got to be called District now.
You know, I like that though. I think now should we start calling it the Dundee District or the Old Market District? Well, some people do say Old Market District.
Yeah. Well, you got Millward Commons, I guess.
District.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the district word because our city is made up of all these cool districts, which
Builders District.
Each have their own flavor, but they're like a salad. They all work together to make something delicious.
Yes.
Southwest Airlines will begin daily nonstop flights from Omaha to Nashville, Tennessee, starting June 4th. I know that seems like a ways out, but it's really not all that far. You got to prepare for these sorts of things. The daily flight will be on the Boeing 737. The standard Southwest Airlines plane can hold up to 175 passengers. Southwest had operated seasonal service to Nashville for some time now, but this is going to be the daily year-round permanent flight. So, in addition to Nashville, Southwest is really getting pretty heavy in the service that they offer out of Omaha. They now have, in addition to Nashville, daily year-round nonstops from Omaha to Atlanta, Midway, Dallas Love, Denver, Houston Hobby, Orlando, Las Vegas, Phoenix, St. Louis, and Washington, D.C. Seasonal flights include Fort Lauderdale and Tampa.
Hopefully they are making money now and they can buy a new computer system.
God willing, I got caught up in that Southwest Airlines disaster on last Christmas. We were supposed to fly to Phoenix to visit family, and it was an absolute cluster, you know what. And I've been rather hostile to Southwest Airlines since then, but I've got to admit, they did refund the tickets. They paid for a rental car that we grabbed to drive to Arizona, paid for our hotels on the drive to and from back Arizona, and gave all 4 of us 25,000 complimentary miles. So at least they tried hard to make up for it. I will say, though, when I'm traveling for business and I'm going out, like let's say I have a sales training program on Tuesday and I'm flying out on Monday, I never take Southwest on the way to a place because I just don't trust them. But I will take them home as long as I don't have anything important scheduled the next day, because then it's a little bit less of a risk.
Now, on that cluster, you did choose to fly on Christmas.
So? Is that my fault that I want to fly on Christmas?
I'm just saying.
If Southwest Airlines offers a ticket on Christmas and I pay for the ticket on Christmas, maybe they should do their job and get me there on Christmas.
So do you go to movies on Tuesday nights too?
Rarely. Why?
Yeah. Because that's discount nights, like $5 movie night.
I'm usually not available for a movie on Tuesday night.
You can't see over people's blankets. There's so many people there.
I don't go to very many movies. I usually only go to about maybe one movie a month, if that. Because I know you're a movie guy. You go to more than I do. But if I do, it's going to be on a weekend because that's when I'm available.
Okay.
I'm working on Tuesday, for crying out loud. So are you. All right. We have other Eppley Airport news. So we reported this in the Grow Omaha newsletter about a week or two ago, but I wanted to kind of give everyone an update. You may have heard that because of the new canopy and front drive improvements outside of Epley, that there are now temporary pickup and drop-off lanes inside on the ground floor of the south parking garage. That has started. That went live yesterday morning, and I'm sure regular listeners along with Trenton Magid will not be surprised to hear this, but I did go personally try it out. As you know I would.
Wait, did you have a flight or anything, or you just did it for sport?
No, I did it this morning on the way to the studio. I literally drove all the way downtown over to Epley just because I wanted to provide a service.
It was like a pickup, so you didn't have to pay when you went in the car.
Yeah, it's free. It's like drop-off pick.
Okay.
So basically, they got rid of, for most of the ground floor, there's still the little ticket things to go up into the south garage. But if you just follow the temporary orange signs, which will be there for about a year and a half, you go on one side for picking people up, you go on one side for dropping off, and then on the far west, they have the Uber and Lyft areas. And it looks pretty good.
So can you...
The signs are easy to follow, so do not panic.
So are you... Now, when you go to pick people up, should you still stay in the cell phone lot until your person gets off the plane?
Correct. In fact, I would say it's probably even more important to do that, Trenton, because there's not as much space as there had been.
So, but is it still like parked in tandem or?
Yeah, there's like a couple lanes for pickup and a couple lanes for drop off. And so basically, if you are picking up an arriving passenger, that's more toward the east side of the south garage. And if you are dropping off a departing passenger, that's kind of more like in the middle. And then the
left is rideshare.
And then the Uber is to the left is the rideshare.
To the west?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they've done it in a way that's very clear, and it was easy to follow.
Just follow the signs, ladies and gentlemen. There's a few people that panicked on our website or on our Facebook page. And
yes, they did.
Apparently they didn't get the information within 40 minutes, and they gave us a reminder.
So, yeah, a lot of people get...
We love our fans, but give us at least an hour.
Some people have a little trouble with change, too. So, but this is really no big deal. Just follow the signs, and you'll be fine. And like everything when we talk about construction, because everyone knows we love construction here on this show, it can be a hassle while it's going on, but the greater good is worth it. The light at the end of the tunnel is there. When this thing is done in about, I think, a year and a half, you will have this amazing canopy over the drop-off pickup area, and it'll be very nice and very logical, and it'll really increase traffic flow and increase capacity. And of course, that sets the stage for the $600 million terminal expansion, which we expect to kick off next year.
And we're guessing 1 or 2 moving walkways.
Moving sidewalks. Well, Omaha is number 1 in America, Trenton, for apartment rental growth, according to CoStar. This is a significant statement. From the beginning of 2023 through last month, apartment rents increased by 4.1%. CoStar looked at every submarket in the United States that has at least 75,000 rental units in it. Omaha, number 1. Now, if you are a renter, you probably don't like hearing that. But from a Grow Omaha perspective, that actually bodes well for our future.
Yeah, I think it does. And we're seeing some more apartment projects, both ground up and conversions. So that might tame it a little bit for you. The competition won't hurt the renters, but it's still, what would you say, Jeff, for apartment dwellers that want to get a house? You got almost 8% almost sometimes for 30-year fixed mortgage rates. Mm-hmm. And then you got rising apartment rates. So do you still think if you buy a decent house, do you think it's still a good investment to buy a house?
Well, of course, it depends for each individual person.
How much they invest in it.
Yeah, and how much they have to put down and what their income is and yada, yada, yada. And, of course, Eagle Mortgage would help you with all of that.
Yeah, they're better at that than we are.
But I would tell you, long term, I think there are a lot of people who rent who would be serving themselves well by having skin in the game and owning a house. But when we're used to 3% home loans and now they're like 8% or whatever they are, that is obviously tough for people.
Yeah, it concerns me that I think it was like after World War II, after a few years, I think like 75% of people owned a home.
Yeah.
And now with all the venture capital and all these huge corporations and there's a lot of forces that want people to rent homes. And there's groups in Omaha, there's individuals in Omaha that own hundreds of homes each. And I don't like that trend.
Yeah, I've got mixed emotions about it, Trenton, because in some ways it's nice to see so many people wanting to be landlords and making that commitment. That's good for America to have lots of people investing in that sort of thing. But I'm with you. The percentage of people who own their own homes has gone down dramatically since that post-World War II era. And I am of the belief that the more people who have financial skin in the game, they own a piece of America, maybe the more likely, not always, but the more likely they are to care and to work hard to protect their piece of skin of America. And it is a bit of a concern.
Yep.
All right, one more news item before we break for the first time. We have some changes at 13th and Interstate 80, northwest corner of 13th and I-80, so near Omaha's Henry Doorly Zoo and Aquarium. We have a Scooters Coffee building, which is going in directly south of an existing Jimmy John's restaurant, if you can picture the area. And then right to the west of that, there has long been a hotel known as Comfort Inn at the Zoo. That is being converted into a Howard Johnson by Wyndham hotel. No word on whether it'll be called Howard Johnson at the Zoo, but that is some change that is happening in South O. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Trenton and I are going to take our first break of the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk about Oakview Mall, something happening down by the Med Center. We're going to talk about growth and development in Sarpy County. A lot of things coming up. Going to be very busy. You don't want to miss any of it. You're listening to Grow Omaha. It's brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
So out by the outlet mall,
West Crossing.
yeah,
We can't call it the outlet.
that's true. Rod,
Sorry, Rod.
Hope you're not listening to the Uncut.
I know he's not listening live.
The warehouse.
He's on a plane.
Plus run break.
Yeah.
There's a huge warehouse that New Street is building. I don't know what tenants they have for that. And there's another building. Is the white building?
Small one is lovely. The smaller one's lovely skin.
The smaller one is. You sure?
Yeah.
How big is that? I wonder.
Big, but not nearly as big as that big one. That big one looks like it's 500,000 square feet, doesn't it? 300 to 500.
Danny Cisco is making bank. I think he leases
Do you
all
think that
those.
one's close to 500?
Yeah.
I mean, it's awfully big.
But we don't know.
Oh, 500 is a lot.
We don't know if it has any tenants, do we?
Find us online
I don't know. I don't know.
That's D&Mroofing.com.
I know how to find
Let's
out.
get that fixed.
There's some big
Capture
industrial
the
deals
splendor
going
of
on.
fall with Rockbrook Camera. Nebraska and Western Iowa's local family-owned camera store since 1975. We're gearing up for early holiday shopping.
So, what are we going to do for the Noddle segment?
What time's the game today?
2:30.
Capture the
You going?
mesmerizing beauty,
No,
majesty,
too cold.
autumn's
And,
amazing fall colors with
they say,
popular R-series
I gave up-
mirrorless cameras from Canon.
When I gave up
They
those
are
tickets that
faster,
my dad and I had,
smaller,
You did?
and more
2019,
versatile than ever
2019.
before.
Because we had.
I did perfect too. I got rid of my clips.
Well, the problem was, like, most of the time I was too busy to go, so I'd buy these season tickets and only make it to 2 or 3 games. And
You gotta find someone to take
Yeah,
them.
and it was a pain in the
Nobody
ass.
wants to pay it for them.
no one was paying, and then you try and give them away, and no one could go, and then
Or you give them away, they don't go.
or they're like, because there were sometimes the tickets would just be wasted.
Right.
And I'd mention somebody like, "Oh, you should have called me. I would have gone." I'm like, "Yeah," but every time you'd call someone, "No, I'm busy." And then you'd be pissed off when you came home because under Frost they always underperformed, and
Right.
even if they won, they would win by like 1 touchdown against some school you've never heard of.
Are people happy with the rule?
Yeah, I think he's off to a great start. Even if he loses today, he's off.
Yeah, we better not lose today.
Well, he's got 3 out of 5 starting offensive linemen who aren't going to play.
Yeah, that's true. You're a good
Yeah.
point. I wasn't thinking of injuries.
Yeah, he's got 3 out of 5 starting offensive linemen out for injury.
We weren't exactly setting the world on fire there anyway.
Pretty much every starting receiver from the fall camp is gone. 2 of the top 3 running backs are gone.
Many have tried.
It's gonna be tough.
Making driving
Just
at night.
hope
We
hard.
got the number one volleyball team.
Amen.
They're undefeated, right?
Oh yeah, they last night they
Yeah.
kicked Maryland's ass real bad.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't. And Stephanie was telling me that like the third set was like 25-8 or something.
People say that we shouldn't have won that game against Wisconsin.
Who would say that?
No, that was just it was rough. And
Yeah. Hey,
Well, they
to
were
be
doing
honest with you, when I stopped watching it in the fourth set, I didn't think we were going to win, which is why I admit it. I'm a fair weather fan. I stopped watching it in the fourth set because I thought we were going to lose.
I mean, Wisconsin's good.
Yeah.
They've had our numbers, so just the fact we were able to pull
is that a
one.
really late break, or is that clock screwed up?
No, it's a normal break. It's over.
26, yeah. I went a little long.
We might have taken the break a little late.
It's just us.
5 minutes past
Good
each
up,
hour
guest.
from 8:05 a.m. to 8:05 p.m.
They don't care. I don't care.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid with you. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. D&M Roofing and Siding is top notch. They're the company you want to call for both commercial and residential roofs. They'll take care of your warehouse, your office, your retail building, and your home sweet home. Eric Obrumt and the team there do an outstanding job. D&M Roofing
Whether
and
it's flat
Siding.
or pitched, they get it.
Yeah, frankly,
Right.
They don't even care, do they? They'll
No,
do a
they're
flat
good
or a
at- they're
pitch.
good at all.
They don't care. They'll do any roof. All right, let's talk a little bit about Oakview Mall, Trenton. It is for sale again.
So this is interesting. So there's a group out of New York, Great Neck, New York, that is known. They have dozens and dozens of malls, and they buy them cheap when nobody wants them, and either just sit on them, or put local tenants in them, or try to flip them, and they put it on the market in the last week. About 534,000 feet, and it includes the Rush Market, but not the other three big anchor stores.
Like the former Sears.
Former Sears or the existing JCPenney and Dillard's. And most of the parking is part of the deal. It's listed unpriced with another brokerage firm in Omaha. And for whatever reason, the media outlets decided that we were the people to talk to, and you handed it to me, Channel 7, and then Channel 6 called the next day, and then Gary Settlemeyer had me on in the morning during drive time, and it's very interesting, and I really think if you get it at the right price, but there's a lot of maintenance that comes with it, and you have to figure out with three other owners on those anchors how it's going to be transformed, whether there'll be a residential component, whether there'll be maybe some storefronts built into it somehow. What do you think?
You know, for one thing, it's fascinating what has happened there. You know, it wasn't too many years ago where that was the dominant retail place in Nebraska. I mean, it was new. I mean, the thing was only built in the early 90s. So it's still a relatively new building. And in those days, it was kicking Westroad's butt in terms of sales per square foot. But then you had Village Point come in, and then you had Nebraska Crossing come in. And those two retail centers are the kings of Nebraska. And, Nebraska Crossing is famous for, and we'll talk about Nebraska Crossing a little bit in the next segment. It's famous for having so many popular retailers that only have one location in the state. And Village Point is famous for having a lot of upscale retailers.
Apple Store and stuff like that.
And then you throw in Amazon.com and online shopping, and really Oakview just kind of took it in a bad spot. And it'll be interesting to see. You know, I am of the belief that someday, and it'll be in the 2030s, enclosed regional malls will have a nostalgic resurgence, and they will be the rage, and people will love them. And a lot of people will say, why did they tear down so many of them? Because they'll be so awesome. And I think if Oakview survives and doesn't meet the wrecking ball, which I'd be kind of surprised if it's torn down anytime soon, it could be set up for greatness in the 2030s. This is just my personal prediction. Right now, if you go there, no offense to anyone who works at Oakview, but I find it rather depressing walking through the place. It's just kind of depressing. It's having a tough go of it from my point of view. I'm sure some of the businesses that are in there probably are thriving, but I don't really like what it's become.
And the demographics really are good. I mean, a mile away, they're talking about doing billions of dollars worth of development at Heartwood Preserve, the former Boys Town property, and
which could also end up becoming, though, a big competitor for good retail tenants.
Yeah,
because if they had a fair amount of retail space in that village part of Heartwood Preserve that has been discussed, that could also be a blow to Oakview.
But a lot of people on our Facebook page are saying, we're in Nebraska, and it started yesterday. It got really cold, and a lot of people are saying, why are we relying on these storefront, the lifestyle centers, which all shops go outside, as opposed to you can park at the door and go through the mall and stay warm?
You know what? I think the answer to that is people like them better, because you can go to Nebraska Crossing or Village Point on a 100-degree day, and you can go on a 0-degree day. And there are people there in all those stores and shops. They don't seem to care.
Right.
Even though it's
Nebraska.
Yeah. And, if you think about it, okay, so today is a blustery day and it's not comfortable being outside. But if you look at the preponderance of all the days around the year, yeah, there'll be a lot of days where it's cold, or there'll be a lot of days where it's hot. But there aren't very many days in which it's absolutely miserable to be outside, even in the winter. Most days it's cold, sunny, and a moderate breeze. You know what I mean?
And we're used to it. By the time you get to January, you're used to it. And those days where it's actually pouring down rain or blowing snow or very blustery or 109 degrees with a high dew point, the ones where you actually refuse to go outside, they're not that often. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think as long as the population keeps growing in Omaha, which is looking really good that it will right now, you will have room for the outdoor malls like Nebraska Crossing and Village Point, and you will have room for a Westroads, which is doing pretty well, it seems. And maybe at some point Oakview will have a resurgence. And Westroads has to work hard to do well, but they seem to be doing it.
Yeah, they're in a great spot. They've kind of got that. They're at that place where urban meets suburban. They're at two freeways. They're the terminus.
Is that Yonkers still vacant, waiting for Dillard's, hopefully, for them?
Well, that's what we've been hearing for a long time, but that now we have not heard anything about that for a couple of years.
I think that space has been vacant for 10 years. Easy?
I don't think it's been that long. Has it been that long?
And then you also have the Granite City.
Yeah,
which I've tried to.
You've tried to put a restaurant in there
a couple times.
And it just hasn't worked out.
It's just too big. It's 10,000 feet or something.
All right. One last thing before we break. We're going to bump our Sarpy County talk to the next segment. But I do want to mention Access Commercial, Sower Investment Partners, and Burlington Capital held a groundbreaking earlier this week for their 329-unit multifamily building southeast corner of 48th and Dodge. We've talked about this before, but they did hold the groundbreaking, 5 stories. They're going to have, it's going to be pretty high on amenities. And of course, one of the interesting things about this is that it will preserve the Pittman Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Arthur B. Pittman was Omaha's first African-American veterinarian, and he ran that practice there from 1948 until he died in 1990.
Wow.
That building is being preserved. It will become the apartment building's leasing and management office.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's a cool rendering. If you want to see what a rendering of what it'll look like, go to growomaha.com and click on the projects page on the navigation bar. And there's a really cool rendering, the latest, greatest rendering of what that apartment project will look like. When you're driving west on Dodge there, it will be like dominant. It's going to be a hell of a building.
I'll tell you what, I actually talked to him yesterday. Dominic Vaccaro is a rock star. He leads the real estate group at Burlington Capital. I've actually invested with them, full disclosure, and they have a few funds or whatever. So if anybody's out there, and my guess is, this is not giving investment advice or whatever, but my guess it's probably at least 50,000, maybe 100,000 or something like that. But Dominic Vaccaro and Lisa Yanni Roskins, They do a great job as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool company. Well, let's take our middle of the show break, okay? And we're going to have the news and the weather. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about Sarpy County growth and development. And also we have some very interesting news, including a couple of new retailers coming to Nebraska Crossing, which happens to be in Sarpy County. So it's a little bit of a theme in the next segment. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
All right, where are we going to?
Thanks, Roger.
It's all Roger's fault.
All I have to do is poke the monkey. Poke the monkey.
Look, shoot fish out of a barrel, Raj.
October Valentine. Officials in
Yeah,
Maine
it's just-
plan to
just
hold
poke the monkey.
Give him a little
this
poke.
hour after mass shooting suspect.
Come on, monkey, give us
Now we have to
something.
explain.
We have to
gunshot
explain.
wound last night. The discovery about 10 miles
Oh,
from
you
where
can
he
say
shot and killed
anything.
18 victims
Poke the dog.
Wednesday. Israeli Defense Forces continue.
Poke the bear, I think is what it's supposed to be.
Poke the bear is
Yeah.
probably better. I don't know. I just said monkey.
I like monkey.
Roger, they just
I
make
like
like
monkey.
poke the hippopotamus.
I mean,
infrastructures in a very significant way.
You had to go and poke the hippopotamus.
In the last few
you don't want to screw with
Poke
it.
the platypus.
Hippopotamus are pretty wild. They're just
Nope, they kill a lot of people.
More,
I think
more than
they,
any other wild animal.
yeah, they and the
Yes.
Cape buffalo are the two
And they're
African
so
animals that kill the
fast.
most. Yeah, they don't look it.
And swimming.
Yeah.
And swimming, they're like,
And even on land, they'll charge you. And once you get that momentum, you know they open their mouth, you see those teeth? They kill people and they like
Oh, they
it.
do a lot.
They enjoy it.
no.
Have you seen there's animals? We were watching this thing, this reel about these. What was the animal that cleaned the teeth of the hippos and everything else underwater?
No, it was not.
That's a special
fish.
form
It
of
was a
veterinary
fish.
dentistry.
And it was like a little
Check us out
crab or like a lobster or something, like a crustacean.
So Mother Nature, like,
Let the crustacean do the
you know,
dirty
whether
work.
it's alligators or hippos, whatever, like they eat like the, I don't know, it's calcium deposits or just stuff off their body that it's a food source that it's therapeutic and cleans the other animal. It's pretty wild.
I've seen that, but I
Parasites.
can't refresh it in my head. But yes.
Nature finds a way to clean a hippo's teeth.
Honeyman Rental, 4423 South 84th Street. Get it done with Honeyman.
You mean honeydew rental?
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
Security Awareness Month. You may be aware that online crime is a huge threat, but did you know this problem could
Give me
be a
some,
great
man.
career opportunity for
yes,
you?
dear.
Cybersecurity experts are in high demand and well paid. You can position yourself for this.
But I think with hippos, it's like a bird.
My computer career.
Well, I know
I've seen
that
birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this rewarding
They ride on top.
mycomputercareer.edu. That's
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the
So,
Identity theft shows no
kids had a good time in Washington.
They really did. You know, in fact,
You can do.
You're a heck of a tour guide, though.
I think I did. I think I held
Covered
up.
a lot of
I think I held up.
yes.
Yeah, we covered a lot, but I would say, you know, because of the kids' ages, that was one of the most fun family vacations we've had.
Yeah.
Because they're just getting that age where they
They
understand pretty much everything. They
have the basics on a lot of it,
Yeah.
and then Washington's a great place to fill in blanks.
now if they were the only thing that's missing is, in some ways I don't want to rush time because they've already grown up too fast. But I kind of wish they were both 21 because then we could have gone to like some of the cocktail
Yeah.
bars and all that sort of thing. So that's something to look forward
I think
to.
just watch you drink.
Yeah.
You can still go.
Well, some you can't, but we went to like a lot of real nice restaurants, and of course they had real good bars there. And but it will be kind of fun because there are a couple of real cool cocktail bars that'll be fun to take them to someday. But they're pretty fun to travel with, and they actually this trip they didn't fight too much. I mean, a couple little snipey things, but most of the time they just kind of got along. Yeah. So they're getting fun to travel with.
Conversation tips at boystown.org/parenting. That's boystown.org.
Wow.
Here we go.
Parenting.
Okay.
Go ahead.
West Side has scored.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid at your service. This is Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and Siding, along with Dingman's Collision Center. We highly recommend Dingman's every time you get that door ding or something even a little bit worse. But they take good care of you, do a great job. They do it well. And the thing that's so nice about Dingman's, in addition to the quality craftsmanship and workmanship, communication. They are really good. I know I had a car in there not too terribly long ago, and you get these periodic updates. Jeff, this is what's happening. This is what phase we're in. This is when we expect it to be done. And so that's appreciated and goes a long ways in this day and age where so many companies don't give you good customer service. Dingman's definitely does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into our Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. Noddle Companies is a full-service commercial real estate development and residential real estate development firm. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize, but a lot of the headquarters buildings that have been constructed in Omaha are Noddle Companies projects. Like, you know, just think about the relatively new Valmont building in Heartwood Preserve. That's a Noddle Companies project. Yeah. And then, of course, a lot of retail. They've been doing residential projects these days. And they're famous for their places, like Sarbin Village, Builders District, River's Edge, Steel Ridge, so many properties that Noddle Companies has its fingerprints on.
They actually led the development of First National Business Park on West Dodge and what was Commercial Federal Business Park, which is now, well, it was, now it's BMO.
Mm-hmm. BMO, as they call it. Yep.
And so it's changed a few times, but same developer originally.
Yeah, I learned that on KFAB in one of their radio commercials. They said, you might call us BMO, but it's BMO.
Really?
Yeah, it's BMO, actually. And I'm a BMO client, and I didn't even know that.
What they want to be called.
All right. Let's see here. So for the content we have today in the Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight, big progress at 1501 Mike Fahey. This is where the Mass Timber building is located. And if you have not been by there lately, go see it. It looks so cool seeing all the timber supports, and they're both functional and decorative. A lot of the building is enclosed now. And this is a 5-story building. It's going to be, as we understand it, multi-tenant. So a lot of office opportunities inside it. And the other thing, what's really interesting, when you drive by on that stretch of 480 that splits north downtown from traditional downtown, that building is quite noticeable off to the north. Yeah.
Well, it also has a couple patio areas that are on like maybe the third floor or something like that. And then it has the pocket park in front of it. And just very unique. And check out the renderings if you haven't. You go to Noddle's website, but it's pretty cool.
And just behind it, the old Saul's Jewelry warehouse has been removed, which will make way for some additional development there. And that is your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, courtesy of Noddle Companies. If you want to learn more about them, it's pretty easy, noddlecompanies.com. Well, Trenton, I want to talk a little bit about Sarpy County.
Heard of it?
Yeah, and it's a pretty important part of the metro area, and particularly inside Sarpy County. I want to talk first about Nebraska Crossing. Of course, Nebraska Crossing, major retail and entertainment lifestyle center located at Highway 31 and Interstate 80. And we've got a couple of new retailers going there. Yesterday was the opening of Crocs. Crocs is the casual footwear retailer. Crocs has they sell their stuff in 85 countries in America, which is hard to believe. And so they're open now. And then in March, there's another retailer which is owned by Crocs, and it is called Hey Dude. And Hey Dude is also in the footwear business, but it's not necessarily like Crocs is famous for the shoes with the holes in it that you wear in the summer or the pool. Or,
I only have 3 holes left because all my bling on them.
That's true.
Is there a name for those?
Don't they?
When you put the little, if you want a soccer ball or whatever you put on in those holes, is there a name? You
would probably have to ask a kid to answer
you have kids, I don't.
That question. So. They've outgrown that a little bit, that whole bling on the footwear thing. But Hey Dude, is a footwear retailer owned by Crocs. They plan to open at Nebraska Crossing in March. And so that's something to look forward to there. Got some new companies. And then speaking of Nebraska Crossing, some of you, most of you, hopefully remember that Nebraska Crossing is going to be expanded dramatically under the Good Life Transformation Act that the Nebraska legislature passed in the spring of this year. And so the owners of Nebraska Crossing have been working their tails off. So too has the city of Gretna. There are a couple development partners from out of state that are getting involved as well. And we can't tell you everything that we hear that's going on there because there's some big potential stuff. But we do have a piece of news right now. The developers are planning to construct 2 10-story mass timber residential buildings. There will also be a 4-story residential loft building with plans for it to be on top of a gourmet grocery store. These 3 buildings would be made mostly out of mass timber. By the way, the new name for the area is going to be Nebraska Crossing Village District. So this district will be more than just Nebraska Crossing. It'll be some attractions coming to the area around it. Total cost of these mass timber buildings would exceed $200 million. And it's anticipated that eventually the village district will be up to 2,600 acres. And the ownership, the developers are in the process of closing a $3 billion construction loan to make all of this happen.
Wow. And part of the Good Life District, so the Good Life District can be up to 2,000 acres. You can make it bigger, but for the incentives and things like that. And within 10 years in that municipality, they have to build $500 million worth of new construction in addition to what's out there.
Yeah, so keep your eye on that area. We can tell you firsthand that they are crisscrossing the nation right now, working their tails off, working on attractions to bring to that area. But keep an excited and anticipatory eye. Is that a word? An eye of anticipation
That's good.
On Gretna, because it looks like some pretty cool things are
I think
happening.
the leadership of Mayor Mike Evans, he's passionate about development. He's done a great job. The park is open now. It's a great amenity, and everything that's going on at Nebraska Crossing and the amount of land that's getting developed will be incredible.
Well, and with that, it's time for the Turner Construction Lightning Round. As soon as we take our final break of the hour, I'm looking at the list, and I see quite a few things on it, and we'll get right to it. So you're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
You're in the mood for some of country's greatest hits.
We got a lot on the lightning round. We'll have to get through it.
Where did the time go? You've been in this for, what, 23 years?
Real estate? It'll be 23 years in March.
I can guess your weight, your age within 2 pounds or 2 years.
Okay, what's my weight?
183.
God bless you, but you're way off.
Really?
Yeah.
212?
I'm actually north of 200, about 205. Yeah. What's my height?
5'11".
Correct. What's my age?
54.
I say you should probably know that.
That one was, yeah.
Since we graduated from high school together. Yeah.
Next bathroom project with 11% off.
Okay, you win some crap. Not including the snow globes.
But wait, you should win something because you did the guessing.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what would you like?
Well, I can get your weight.
But I appreciated you down guessed quite a bit.
I'm just short for my weight. What are you doing tonight?
Nothing. I think probably just gonna kind of. You guys do anything?
Going out with a client, the gal who we just sold the third farm for.
Oh, cool.
And her 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m.
Going anywhere fun?
Great people. We don't know yet. Then we let them pick.
Oh, okay.
The kid, the 14-year-old said, anywhere with a burger.
So I went to Louis M's for breakfast this morning.
Oh, yum.
And
What time do you get up?
like 6:30. I normally get up at 5:30. It's sleep
The airport.
Yeah.
You went to the airport. You went to Williams before or after the airport?
After. So I got Maddie went with me. And by the way, the reason I mentioned that is, she always gets a cheeseburger when we go out to breakfast. She always gets a cheeseburger for breakfast. So she had a cheeseburger at Williams. So we went to Williams, had a cheeseburger, then drove downtown, looked around there. Then we drove through and saw the temporary lanes in the airport. Then we came here. And I got here before Roger was here. Roger was gone.
Go ahead and take it. We've got about 4 minutes.
Okay.
And back to the show. It is time for your Turner Construction Lightning Round, brought to you appropriately by Turner Construction. They are building Omaha's future. Very deep bench of expertise and experience and knowledge and talent. Holy cow! The music came back there for a split second. All right, so Turner Construction, deep bench of talent and knowledge and experience and resources. That's what you would expect from a big contractor that does mega projects all over the world. But they are also a Omaha-oriented local construction shop when it comes to this town. They do big, medium, and small projects all over the metro area. And Trenton and I have personally witnessed the results of many Turner projects. We've toured their spaces and have patronized businesses that go into Turner-built spaces, and they just always do such a great job. Highly recommend Turner Construction, and we thank them for making this possible. All right, a lot of stuff to talk about. First of all, Bob's Grill and Cafe at the Keyline Building, 17th and Harney Street, is going to reopen November 1st. They have been closed for a few months of renovation. That entire building is really being renovated by Shamrock Development. And also on the ground floor of that space, in addition to Bob's Grill and Cafe, UPS store is coming pretty soon. Trenton, a deal you were involved with, Untamed Kitchen, now open downtown.
Very excited for Alex Harrington, Clayton Chapman, and their crew. The world's first Untamed Kitchen is at 15th and Farnham, which is right across from Pickleman's that Alex has. And it's very healthy eating, but flavorful. And the ambiance is very nice. And I hope it grows into a huge chain, and I hope I continue to represent them. But I saw a lot of people down there, and check it out. It's untamedkitchen.com.
15th and Farnham. A couple other downtown restaurants. Manhattan's Coffee, Deli, and Grill will open soon on the ground level of a parking garage on the northwest corner of 18th and Farnham Street. This is the parking garage that is directly north of City Hall and directly west of the Woodman Tower. So it's kind of a new street-level retail addition to that space. Also downtown, the long-awaited Tupelo Honey Southern Kitchen and Bar will open its first Nebraska location Halloween. That is coming up early next week, 830 Harney Street. That's the new brick line building. 5,500 square foot space will serve a bunch of Southern comfort food, things like that. Uday Lali is opening here in Dundee. New restaurant scheduled to open January in the former Mark's Bistro location, 4916 Underwood Avenue. The interesting thing about this restaurant, they will actually train formerly incarcerated adults on how to get into the restaurant world, teach them on the culinary industry, and transition them into good jobs in the restaurant industry. And the music's playing, which means, doggone it, we have more stuff that we have to delay to next week. Hope everyone has a great Saturday. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, D&M Roofing and Siding, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Amy wants you to tell some other things that are going on.
What's that?
Amy wants you to tell some things that are going on.
Oh yeah, the stuff that they missed, right? Okay, see, there are benefits.
You're still here?
It's over. Go home.
The credits are rolling. What could go wrong with former inmates in a restaurant setting?
Well, I think they're going to be pretty well supervised.
Like knife sharpening?
I think they're going to carefully select their inmates. I think they'll.
Those use forks, I think.
Okay, so Trenton, so this one I was going to give you a slow pitch, softball toss on this one to you, but we ran out of time, and it went like this: we've got a new use for the former Super Saver grocery store, 144th Street south of Q in the Stony Brook area.
And that is going to be a dark store, as they call it, for Hy-Vee. My guess is that Hy-Vee is moving out of a leased big warehouse space in Papillion, and they're going to own it's about 87,000 feet or so, 84,000.
I can tell you exactly. Yes,
we're losing them.
84,584. Square feet.
Clear.
Oh yeah. Construction is well underway on Nebraska's first Macadoodle's fine wine, beer, and spirit store northeast of 72nd and Grover Street. Macadoodle's is based in Missouri, but they have locations in Missouri and Arkansas. First location, I said Nebraska, 4,000 wine labels, 600 beer varieties. So if you've been by 72nd and Grover, the building, the structure, the skeleton is up and a lot of it is enclosed. We have Macadoodles.
COVID-19 really increased the alcohol intake of our city and liquor stores, and my tolerance isn't any stronger as yours. Yours probably is.
It is, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I became.
I'm a cheap drunk, really.
I became a drinker during the pandemic. Interior construction is well underway on Spare Time Entertainment's first Nebraska location in the former Gordman store, Lakeside Hills, 172nd and West Center Road. Spare Time will include bowling, arcade games, an escape rooms plural, laser tag, full restaurant, multiple bars. They have 18 locations in 12 states, mostly in the East. Dunkin' Donuts going to 156th and Ida, new strip center there. Methodist Urgent Care is opening a downtown location in the Barker Building, 15th and Farnham, not far from Untamed Kitchen across the street. Porsche Omaha moved into its new building northwest of 180th and Dodge and is open a few weeks ago. And finally, Tommy's Express Car Wash, 108th and Giles.
Very nice.
Anything I missed?
Nope.
It's a rush.
Jeff Fields, ladies and gentlemen.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.